I don't know anything about Street Fighter lore, right? Or story. I have no idea. Apparently, I saw the intro like up until here, and he's like, you know what? They're not even that different. They're kind of the same. Quit yapping, play Tekken. Hold on, let's watch the video.
I've been trying my absolute best to make sense of Street Fighter lore up to the point of Street Fighter 6. For no other reason than it would probably be mad funny. I never really grew up with Street Fighters because I was always more of a Tekken household, you know?
Oh, that's us also, by the way.
But after long hours of research, I have concluded that Tekken and Street Fighter lore are two cheeks of the same ass. It honestly has way more in common than people realize. For one, they both have old ass niggas that refuse to die.
The ones I don't kill go insane.
Before we get into
Who's the one in Street Fighter? Is it Bison? Is he supposed to be really old or something? He never gave me old man vibes. And in Tekken, it's obviously like Heihachi, I guess. It's Bison. That motherfucker has died and came back who knows how many times. I know that he's trying to take over Ed, and I know that something about Cammy and the dolls too, but like, was he gonna take over the girl bodies as well, or I don't know. I don't get it. Here, let's watch.
Bro, the Street Fighter timeline is the dumbest shit ever. Why the f does Street Fighter 4 take place between Street Fighter 2 and 3, and Street Fighter 5 takes place after 4, but before 3?
You know, I thought that was kind of cool though. I like that. Hey, I don't know. Of course, if it was Tekken that did that, it would be a little weird, I guess. But Tekken is dumb as fuck too, because all the Tekkens take place 2 years apart. I think one Tekken has a big age gap, and the rest just happen within a 2-year period. And it's so weird. I personally think when they aren't chronological, like Street Fighter, I think they could do unique things with it. That's what I like about it. Tekken, it's freaking weird, man. Where time passes for us, but not for them. It's so weird. 3 or 4 is just like a 20-year. There's one game where there's a big gap and everything else takes place in like the same like 13, 14 months, and it makes no sense. Like, who even has time to go to all these tournaments, the King of Iron Fist tournaments and stuff like that?
Then Street Fighter 3 takes place after 5, but before 6.
Who made this burger, man? I know y'all hear me. The ones I don't kill go insane.
All the
Bison
soundtrack.
is one of the primary antagonists of the series, the man behind the deadly criminal organization of Shadaloo, wanting nothing more than total world domination, and for the world to live in total misery. This fuels and feeds his psycho power, which said power isn't really elaborated on much, other than the fact that it's like, very bad, and gives him the potential to transfer his soul to another body. I don't know what got this nigga feeling like Captain Ginyu, but keep this in mind for later. His first death would be in Street Fighter Alpha 3. Not to be confused with Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, or Street Fighter 3 New Generation, or Street Fighter 3 Second Impact. I say death in quotes because it's the kind of thing where it leaves much speculation as to whether or not he survived. Like, it's not like the creators got on a live stream and both said in unison, "And Bison is completely dead." So to put in extremely simple words, in Street Fighter Alpha 3, Ryu, the one and only, engages in a battle with Bison, who has been doing everything in his psycho power to brainwash the former, since he sees the perfect vessel for psycho power inside of Ryu. While he temporarily succeeds in brainwashing Ryu, he ultimately ends up breaking free to hit him with one final Shoryuken, resulting in his first defeat.
Yo, he turned into Majin Buu.
Now this next part is my favorite part though, cause he comes back in Street Fighter 2 via Clone Body, and then announces the second World Warrior Tournament.
So he's basically the Mishima of Street Fighter. He's the one announcing this shit all the time.
This is in an attempt to lure Ryu out to battle once more.
Join my
He
tournament.
almost gets his wish as Ryu battles his way past the entire tournament leading up to Bison. And as they start fighting, completely out of fucking nowhere, Bison gets socked in the face by Akuma. Mind you, nobody asked this nigga to pull up. He's in this shit completely uninvited. Pulls up Son Goku Satsu the nigga, taking his life to fight Ryu while Bison's lifeless body was rotting inches away. While Bison's lifeless body was rotting inches away. This is the most disrespectful.
Are those real sound effects from the, you know, because back then we had some goofy ass sound effects. Remember that Mortal Kombat sound effect and that outro? Y'all know what I'm talking. I wouldn't. Hey, okay, you guys are saying no, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Was rotting inches away. This is the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen, bro. That was over 30 years ago. Bison still ain't get his leg back. Look, bro, he pulled up to your tournament and beat your ass. It's been 30 years since. Not once did you ever try him again. Look, man, Akuma probably hasn't ever given Bison a second thought. But you know Bison will replay that moment every night before he goes to sleep. Then he gonna try to act brand new. He talking about, do I resemble this man you call Bison? That's you, nigga! That is you! That's you!
Leave me alone!
This may or may not be the canon storyline, due to Street Fighter's lore being all over the place and not really elaborating.
Capcom released a mini-series leading up to the release of Street Fighter 4 retconning this event. As far as I know, they've not mentioned this retcon ever again, lol.
But I consider it canon because it's funny as fuck. He then dies a third time in the Shadow Falls expansion of Street Fighter 5 in the final battle between him and Ryu, which makes it the second time he's died by the hands of Ryu. I say died, he kind of just disappeared while laughing. It's pretty funny because, well, while Bison has a lot of enemies and a lot of people whom he's done real dirty, Ryu don't really got beef with Bison like that.
What?
He's kind of just doing his job as the good guy, stopping the big bad guy, you know? His real rival, in my opinion, is Akuma.
So Ryu just does this as like a Superman kind of deal, but also
The big
that
bad
that
guy, you know?
that cutscene was kind of
His
cool.
real rival, in my opinion, is Akuma.
That was sick. That was nice.
Both are practitioners of the Ansatsuken and are also capable of using the Satsui No Hado.
Oh,
What
okay.
the Satsui No Hado really is rarely gets talked about in the games, but to put it in simple words, this is the kind of energy that once you give into, you become very powerful, but in turn, you lose all your human emotions and morals. Both Ryu and Akuma are capable of using the Satsui No Hado, but while one does everything in their power to repel it, the other is consumed by it. The Satsui no Hado is something that, once you embrace to the fullest extent, there is no going back.
So that's evil,
literally
Ryu.
turns you into a demon who wants nothing more than a fight with someone that can really go toe-to-toe with you and kill you. This someone, in the eyes of Akuma, is Ryu, but only if he really gave into the Satsui no Hado. Ryu was taught this fighting style, not by Akuma, but by Akuma's older brother Gouken.
I love this character,
Pause
by the
the
way.
story right there because Gouken is another one of them old ass niggas that refuse to die, bro. Just to quickly summarize these siblings' relationship, Gouken despises Akuma for embracing the Satsui no Hado to the fullest extent, and Akuma despises him for not embracing it at all. So then they say, you know what? First to five right now, nigga.
Bitch.
You wouldn't be able to handle it, dog. I got niggas over here that'll fuck you in your ass for real, bitch.
Then Akuma uses the Son Goku
Okay, does that meme work? I thought Akuma was solo, but that laugh was funny at the
Over
end.
here that'll fuck you in your ass for real, bitch.
Then Akuma uses the Son Goku Satsu on Gouken. Mind you, this is the same move that he slammed Bison with, and supposedly he kills his brother Gouken too. Now notice that I said supposedly, because now I'm about to read the reason as to why he didn't die. Apparently, right before Akuma performed the Son Goku Satsu on him, Gouken activated the power of nothingness to separate his soul from his body, allowing him to...
Read that.
I'm sorry, I'm not reading the rest of this bullshit, man. This nigga literally just said time out. I have a much better time believing that Heihachi was thrown into a pit of lava and survived. Mind you, his body was a bloodied corpse, and because of that, was obviously believed to have died, so was buried. And then he didn't come back for 2 years. So what the hell was your soul doing for 2 years? Just die, nigga. Die! I understand it's a fighting game and people...
Yo, Denny Moss?
Just die, nigga.
Denny Moss fucking collab?
I understand it's a fighting game and people just don't really die in fighting games, especially not these days. But like, y'all gotta do a better job at retconning at the very least.
You know, they could let Gouken die because I feel like the reason they don't kill off people in these fighting games is because it's a waste of character. Like, for instance, Heihachi. Killing off Heihachi, I mean, that's a pretty big slot in Tekken. But even though I love Gouken, they're not bringing his ass back. He wasn't in 5. I highly doubt he'd be in 6. So just let him die if you're never going to bring him back. Gen apparently did die. Chat was telling me Gen did die, though. So, like, if they wanted to, I mean, kill him, because you're not bringing him back. Oh, even though I love the character. I remember his back throw into his ultra, like that shit was free, man. And his Tatsu was so cool that it was like vertical instead of horizontal. I thought it was pretty cool. He didn't have a DP though. He had cool reversals, however.
Bro, they brought him back from the dead just for one game, just to not be relevant at all in the next game. Like, was his role in the story that important that you had to revive him just to do that and not have him do anything else?
In Street Fighter 4, Gouken seals the Satsui No Hado within Ryu, so he'd no longer suffer with repressing said power, even though it was still a main plot point in Street Fighter 5. In all honesty, bro, probably just retired while he was ahead. Good for him. And you know, in this story, it says he sealed the Satsui No Hado within Ryu. Evil Ryu is a character in that game anyways, right? So
why kill him in the first place? No offense to Gouken, I'm just saying, like, separating his soul from his body last second before dying to come back 2 years later. This is some rancid cooking, even for a fighting game. Like, who wrote that, bro? Who made this burger?
Who made this burger, man?
This is the second time I'm talking about Akuma using the Son Goku Satsu and it working, but getting retconned. They be robbing that boy, on God. But since we talking about Akuma, I've already spoken about him in this video. But I still find it hilarious that this nigga pulled up to Tekken so he can kill both Heihachi and Kazuya. Did neither, then did not elaborate. He promised Heihachi's wife that he'd kill both of them, waited years to do anything at all, and then said, let me take my ass back to Street Fighter. Them Mishima boys got it. Man, I know she was mad as hell in the afterlife looking at that trailer reveal for Street Fighter 6. Fighting games.
I don't know if that was accurate.
Story where two characters fight to the death, one dies. Then wait, he didn't die. He faked his death, comes back, then he blasts two niggas with an orbital fucking nuke.
Wait, when the fuck did that
Two
happen?
niggas with an orbital
I did not play Tekken 7 story mode. Holy shit.
fucking nuke. And both of them walk away unscathed. Peak storytelling, I'll tell you. I'm convinced at this point, there's at least 2 people riddled with amnesia that you can play as in every single fighting game. For some reason, it's always amnesia with these niggas in fighting games. I know y'all be getting smacked upside the head for a living, but god damn, bruh. We already talked about Bison fake ass ducking Akuma by pretending to get amnesia, but there was also his ex-subordinate Cammy, a blonde, blue-eyed white woman assassin who struggles with amnesia from experiments conducted on her, who also won EVO 2024. Not to be confused with Nina Williams. You also have Abel, like Cammy, was at one point affiliated with
Nina also won Evo, didn't she?
Bison. You also have Abel, like Cammy, was at one point affiliated with Bison. Abel was designed to be a genetically engineered replacement body for Bison, but ultimately ended up being designed to be a genetically engineered replacement body.
What's going on over there?
For Bison, but ultimately ended up being a failure that was to be disposed of along with the other failures. However, the blonde-haired fighter managed to escape and since then has been searching for any kind of information on his past and family. Not to be confused with this nigga. Man, I was so surprised when I found out that Abel was supposed to be the protagonist of Street Fighter 4. How was your main character not in a single one of the game's cover arts?
Abel was supposed to be the he was supposed to be the Luke of 4?
That's Fighter 4. How is your main character not in a single one of the game's cover arts? That's ass backwards. Ryu has always been the poster boy of Street Fighter, but Street Fighter has always tried to introduce new main characters and they suck ass at it. because every single time that character just gets overshadowed by Ryu or Bison. But honestly, it has more to do with the fact that Abel is just a nothing burger ass character. You can tell just by his fit, bro. Out of all the buff blonde white fighters in Street Fighter, which by the way, it's a lot, you could line them up and have somebody that knows nothing about Street Fighter guess which one's name is Cody. They're fucking cooked. They're cooked. But out of all of them about Street Fighter, guess which.
I should ask like my brother which one is Cody and just see what he guesses. If you were to guess which one of these characters is Cody, if you were to guess.
They all look like Kyle's.
They all look like. Okay, fair enough.
One's name is Cody. They're fucking cooked. They're cooked. But out of all of them, Abel is definitely the most boring. Unlike Bison and Cammy, Abel did not make it to Street Fighter V nor 6. Many characters from Street Fighter 4 had the same fate, which brings me to my next topic.
I really like the
One thing
character.
I'm not a fan of about Street Fighter is the games make weird roster changes.
I liked Abel's like crouching fierce into the ultra. That carried me in like C rank, and his step kick. I really liked it.
There's a
And
thing
his
about
command
Street Fighter
throw.
is the games make weird roster changes. There's so many characters that debut for like 1, maybe 2 games, then are never seen again. And then there are fan favorites that are nowhere to be seen. Like, where
True.
my nigga Dan? Guy, Yin and
Dudley.
Yang. This applies to many other fighting games as well, but I genuinely don't really understand the point in introducing a bunch of new characters while also building up legacy characters just to have them never return, you know? But you know what? For some characters, I totally get it. See, this here is Hakan. And to be honest, I don't know how to tell you this, but his fighting style is oil wrestling. This nigga dumps a bucket of oil on himself to wrestle, to grab up real tight on niggas. No, I didn't just make this character up. Who said that? This is a very real character that you can play as in Street Fighter 4. Look at this dude's move. Look at this dude's moveness, bro.
Dude, there was a. Okay, to be fair, there was like an Evo match where Infiltration did that as an anti-air, and it was hype as fuck, okay? It's a hype as fuck anti-air.
I'm not watching this shit, man.
This whole time, I'm thinking this must be like some type of made-up fighting style. No. This is a very real sport in Turkey, where a large group of men get together, wear nothing but small, very
How do you make someone submit in there? Don't you have to like do something really sussy?
tight trousers. Then they get covered in olive oil and wrestle on the ground for hours. I'm not gonna show any footage just to save you from the situation of like somebody walking in on you watching this video and then you have to sit there and try to explain yourself.
I'm very lonely,
Hit
it's
that
fine.
button. Hakan never saw another Street Fighter after this one. I didn't even mention the fact that this nigga's glowing red. Somehow, that is the least weirdest thing about him.
Is that a real image? Holy shit, he looked crazy. Yeah, I love this aesthetic. What is this, an ad? That's awesome. It looks awesome.
Another character I want to talk about is Dhalsim. As it stands in Street Fighter lore, Dhalsim is an ancient mythical god of fire, descending down once every 5 years in an effort to bestow peace upon the world. While he is the god of fire, which would typically be associated with evil, Dhalsim is actually one of the more pure-hearted deities in this universe. I just made that whole shit up. He's just some guy that's really good at yoga. Apparently,
Got him. Got him.
Apparently, Dhalsim is a pacifist. I just made that whole shit up. He's just some guy that's really good at yoga. Apparently, Dhalsim is a pacifist. And you know, I completely respect that. I'm not gonna try to take that away from you. But I'm just saying, nigga, you in like 15 fighting games. Fighting games. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dhalsim mainly fights in tournaments as a way to earn money for his family in Broken Down Village, which is a very respectable motive. But then you see this nigga pulling up at Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
What you doing, bro?
That's how I know you do this for the love of the game, bro. You don't gotta be no damn Marvel vs. Cap. Go home to your wife and kids, bro. Bro, if you seen the way that Dhalsim be doing niggas in the supers, you'd never think that he's a pacifist. But he doesn't actually breathe fire. Street Fighter gonna look you dead in your face and say that's mental powers. You telling me that Dhalsim's straight up a gaslighting people into believing that he breathes fire? Then what is Ken doing? You also need some of that money for yourself. I'm just saying, like, why your stomach cave in like that, nigga? God damn. Eat a burger, bro.
It's metabolism.
Something.
It's metabolism.
And stop
right?
walking like that.
Yeah, listen when the man talk, you know.
Necalli is supposed to be the Street Fighter's ancient ogre, a god of fighting that seeks the strongest fighters and only the strongest fighters.
So I don't know anything about Necalli. All I know is when he was first unveiled, he looked mad cool. But then I didn't hear a goddamn thing about him other than negativity on his character. I don't know. He looked pretty cool, but yeah, that's before the game came out. But to be fair, I didn't play the game.
Devour the god of fighting. Necalli is supposed to be the Street Fighter's ancient ogre, a god of fighting that seeks the strongest fighters and only the strongest fighters to devour their soul. And I'm telling you right now, on everything I love, please keep this in mind, because Necalli gets clapped by like 5 niggas.
Oh shit.
Power. What's that?
Ogre at least got a couple of bodies himself, and also has had multiple cameos in Tekken games. Ogre at least got a couple of bodies himself, and
Killed King 1. I thought Marta killed King 1. Jun Kazama, presumably, and nearly killed Beck. Essentially the sole reason for Hwarang, Jin, and King 2 being introduced. I thought, oh, that was Armor King that Marta killed in a drunk brawl or something like that. Okay, got it. Jun Kazama. This is not true, right? And because she's in this game now, right? So unless we come out with another episode or something. So this is how old is this video? 4 days ago? Okay, to be fair, this was what everyone presumed for decades. So yeah.
Also has had multiple cameos in Tekken games.
He might be the 4th character, by the way. It's like, I feel like if Ancient Ogre is really cool, he could possibly top the Heihachi hype. And I mean, to be like, they already got the model, right? I mean, he could look like that. It looked pretty sick if he looked like that.
And also has had multiple cameos in Tekken.
Like, I mean, he looks pretty raw, right? So, I don't know. Like, he could be one of the non-guest characters that if they unveil at TWT, which is in about 5 weeks, I think, or something like that, he would be pretty hype, in my opinion.
Games. This nigga Necalli pulled up for one Street Fighter game. Mind you, it's like 15 of them bitches. He pulled up for one Street Fighter game, got his ass beat by 5 niggas, then was never seen again. Let me put this into perspective, right? Necalli spends 90% of Street Fighter V mumbling gibberish or growling like a Black Ops zombie.
I have waited. You have come.
He barely speaks English, and if he does, he has this weird stutter.
Devour.
like a One Piece character.
Has this weird stutter.
Devour. Make you sacrifice. First.
That boy got punched so hard in his chest by Ryu, he started speaking fluent English. You've literally never heard Necalli articulate himself so clearly before this. His last words ever, nigga looks Ryu dead in his face after he got punched, and he said,
Why couldn't I devour his soul like the others?
then melts into a pile of shit to never be seen again. He did not make it just Street Fighter 6, bro. The only other games that he appeared in is a browser game where you race horses as Street Fighter characters. This is a very real game. I'm not making this up.
What is no? That's real.
This released in 2015 and shut down the next year. The other one was in Grand Blue Fantasy. This is a JRPG where Grand Blue and Street Fighter.
So if it shut down a year later, what is it? A mobile game? Is it a what is it? Was it on Steam? I've never heard of this. I've never seen this versus screen. Nothing.
This
browser
released in
mobile
2015
game
and shut down the next year. The other.
It has a QWOP. It has QWOP graphics.
This released in 2015 and shut down the next year. The other one was in Grand Blue Fantasy. This is a JRPG where Grand Blue and Street Fighter had a collab called Grand Blue Fighter 5. Basically in the game, you were allowed to play as certain Street Fighter characters and battle against others.
Oh shit.
Necalli only appeared as an enemy, so you couldn't play him. This collaboration also only lasted 10 days. So yeah, Necalli just might be the Tony Snell of Street Fighter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was absolutely one of the more hyped characters revealed for Street Fighter 5. This is like getting drafted first round pick in the NBA to getting benched on the roster of the Beijing Ducks in China, bro. His design is so fire too. It's a damn shame. I'm telling you, bro, fighting game lore is crazy. They introduced a mythical ancient Aztec deity who's lived for thousands of years just for him to get punched in his chest and shit himself on the spot. He's been in as many Street Fighter games as Jin Kazama. That boy from a whole nother franchise going toe-to-toe with Necalli in terms of screen time. A pacifist, a self-proclaimed pacifist is in more fighting games than this nigga whose entire life revolves around fighting strong people, bro. And then you have Cody. No superpowers, no psycho powers, not an ancient mythical creature.
Dude from
no
New York.
No Satsui No Hado. This pasty ass nigga just strong as shit for no reason. Some of you might know Cody Travers as the mayor of Metro City in Street Fighter 6, but he's been through a lot. He's had a lot of growth since his first appearance, which by the way, he's not even from Street Fighter. He's from Final Fight.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
But at this point, more people probably know him from Street Fighter.
Many Street Fighter characters debuted in Final Fantasy or other Capcom games. Street Fighter shares its universe with a lot of other games.
So whatever. This nigga Cody is so strong, it feels like some type of inside joke. He's canonically stronger than pretty much everybody in Street Fighter. Like he could beat everybody ass in that game, and the only reason he doesn't is because everybody in Street so strong. At this point, more
Final Fight.
people probably. He's canonically stronger than pretty much
Listen, dude. If it's two F's and it starts with final, my brain just defaults to Final Fantasy because, like, who the fuck talks about Final Fight that much? Come on, it happens, all right?
everybody in Street
Watch
Fighter.
the video.
Like, he could beat everybody ass in that game, and the only reason he doesn't is because he doesn't feel like it. He's also, ironically, one of the only characters that actually have a street fighting kind of style, you know? In Street Fighter 4, Cody fights with
Throwing
street
rocks.
fighting kind of style, you know? In Street Fighter 4, Cody fights with his handcuffs on. I forgot to tell you that he's in prison. It's a long story. He breaks out of prison occasionally when he's bored to beat people up, then goes back into his cell with his handcuffs still on. And don't think that it's because he can't take the handcuffs off. He's one of 3 characters still on. And don't think that it's...
Then why does he do it? He can take them off? Since when? What? Bruh.
because he can't take the handcuffs off. He's one of 3 characters to voluntarily handicap themselves for the added challenge. The only other characters to do this is Oro, an immortal being who I'm not even sure that you can call it human at this point. This nigga looks crazy. Oro is so powerful that he intentionally handicaps himself by only fighting with his left arm. He also fights naked on
His dominant arm is his left, but he uses his right arm for competitive fighting. In Street Fighter 5, he dedicates his left arm to holding his pet turtle. In Third Strike, though, didn't he not have the arm at all? I don't remember.
that close caps called human at this point. This nigga looks crazy. Oro is so powerful that he intentionally handicaps himself by only fighting with his left arm.
I see.
He also fights naked under that cloak, so while you getting your ass beat, there's a small chance that you might see some cock and balls. The other character is...
It's true.
Well,
What was the
your ass
freeze
beat,
frame?
there's a small chance that you might see some cock and balls.
This is only the case in the Street Fighter 3 series, not 5. I be fact checking the most useless shit, I swear. No, yeah, there is a freeze frame where I think if you knock him down, you can see his little wiener in a certain freeze frame.
The other character is, well,
First, there was darkness.
Akuma only fights at full power against an opponent that he deemed worthy.
Like
For
Ryu.
example, Oro. When Akuma
Really? Oro is up there in the lore
fights at his full
tier?
against an opponent that he deemed worthy.
Damn.
For example, Oro. When Akuma
cool.
fights at his fullest power, he is known as Shin Akuma. But he has a form that goes even beyond that, when he is one with the Satsui No Hado. And that form is
Oni.
So, the only 3 characters in Street Fighter with
So when Akuma gives into the Satsui no Hado, he turns into Oni, but I thought Akuma by default gives into it. So I don't understand. Like completely. So Akuma is also resisting it a little bit. Cause I thought he was accepting it, like the entire time. It's just slow. He holds back when he fights people he doesn't find worthy. I see. So if he fights Oro or Ryu, then he'll go Oni basically, because then he won't hold it back anymore. I see. So he does resist it, unless he is going all out, I guess. Okay, that makes sense then. Sure.
the Satsui Shin. For example, Oro. When Akuma fights at his fullest power, he is known as Shin Akuma. But he has a form that goes even beyond that, when he is one with the Satsui No Hado. And that form is Oni. So, the only 3 characters in Street Fighter universe to handicap themselves because they are so strong is a 130-year-old bald martial arts master,
Not
a
bald.
little motherfucking demon, and a white guy from New
Well
York.
now, let's see if we can't do something about my boredom.
Why is Cody canonically stronger than Ryu? How? What'd you say, Kenar? Oro is the strongest Capcom fighting game character besides Ingrid, but she doesn't even matter. Yeah, I don't even really know who that is, but okay. Chat says Cody is the strongest. He's from New York just because New York pizza diet, prison. He has that New York dog in him. He got adrenaline, white privilege. He's from the streets. Okay, all right. Well, okay.
And a white guy from New
Well
York.
now, let's see if we can't do something about my boredom.
Cody Travers is a blonde white man, but he is that nigga.
Guys, write that quote down! Yes, sir!
That is all for today's video.
He didn't mention Sagat at all.
Learning about Street Fighter was really fun. There's so much more I want to talk about and so many characters that I haven't even mentioned that I
Yeah.
have a lot to say on. And I already know his dudes in my comments right now mad like I ain't been talking for like 20 minutes straight already.
Nigga looking at me?
Yes, I'm talking to you, nigga. Get off me. I've barely mentioned Street Fighter 6 because, like I said, I have about 3 hours on that shit. 2 hours was on the character creator. I'm having lots of trouble picking out a main. I'm not gonna lie. Like, nobody really stands out to me in that cast. Not that it's bad, but I'll be looking at Street Fighter 4's cast like I could have made like 6 different characters if I actually.
Dude, I love a lot of these characters. Bring back Viper. Evil Ryu is cool, but like whatever. Bring back Hugo. Bring back Viper. Bring back Hugo. Bring back Sagat. I mean, Oni would go pretty hard, but I feel like Akuma's already a pain in the ass. I don't think they're gonna bring back Oni anytime soon. The Capper, whatever. Bring back Seth. There are so many. Bring back Dudley, Makoto, dude, Makoto. Why not? Ibuki, I liked her a lot, but I don't really fuck with Kimberly too much. I loved Guy though. I loved Guy, but I don't think those. I think those two are invalidated because of Kimberly. Man, Adon, whatever. T-Hawk and Fei Long would go pretty hard. Is Vega? Vega's not in Street Fighter 6. I feel like with RE Engine, Vega could look awesome. Like I think he can have a lot of fans. I don't think Fjorte or this guy, what's his name? Yeah, him. I don't think they're coming back. Rufus, Fjorte and Rufus. I don't think they're coming back. The twins. The twins, if they came back, I'd be I'd welcome them, but as long as they're not busted, they were pretty broken, especially this one. Rolento's whatever. Rose is pretty boring. Elena, hopefully she's not busted to shit. I thought Gen was really cool, pretty much like 3 characters in one, but apparently he's dead. Sakura is pretty cool. I like her. I don't know if they'll ever bring her back though. They could. I mean, she was in 5. So Poison, I feel like if they bring back one, do they have to bring the other? Because I'd welcome her. I wouldn't fucking use her, but I would like Hugo. DJ had the biggest fucking upgrade, man. The biggest makeover out of any other character. To going from this game to 6th. This character was so useless in 4. But yeah, I really like this cast overall. There's a lot of characters they can choose from. And even though there's so many characters they can choose from, they know that the guest of characters will sell more. So those are taken over. But like there's just so many cool characters here, man. I mean, I think Mai would be pretty cool, but like give me Sagat, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me get that Hugo. Let me get Vega. Not that I'd use Vega. He'd be a cool addition. Like Sea Viper. I'm a huge Sea Viper fan. And if they want to release her, like I've always said, they shouldn't release her later. Her skill ceiling is super high. In the fighting game genre altogether. I think even in Marvel 3 it was extremely high as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah.
Grew up with Street Fighter.
Juri is like the only character from here that became like the new character from 4 that became mainstream, I feel like. Abel, I love Abel, but I really doubt that they will bring him back. But yeah.
Street Fighter 4's cast, like I could have made like 6 different characters if I actually.
Juri was a smash hit. I wonder why. But at the same time, Viper too. But I feel like she was too difficult. I feel like wasn't their popularity similar? I guess obviously not. If Juri became like mainstream and Viper didn't. But I wonder how much of it had to do with the differences in how hard they were to use. Because Juri wasn't necessarily an easy character, I guess. Viper definitely was a hard one. And yeah, I think Viper was popular, yeah, but I mean, whatever.
Grew up with Street Fighter. I definitely main Cody or Guy. Anyways, I think it's time we start letting some of these old niggas die. I'm sorry, Gramps. I would have been cool with it if y'all cheated dead to take long walks at the park and love your grandchildren. Shout out to Akuma, but you getting at that age where you gotta take that dedication to fighting and put it into sewing or some shit. And after seeing what Heihachi did to Eddie and hey, that nigga not! I got the rope right here.
That was cool. That was a good video, man. Guys should yeah. Sub to Tunari. That was a good one. People be talking about Baki not making sense and don't realize that every single fighting game's lore and story make no sense. Baki is probably influenced from fighting game lore into not making sense. Ain't even mention how Akuma's not even evil. Bro sells fruit to children. He does what? He's not evil? What you mean? He hates his brother. But to be fair, his brother hates him too. Well, he's not evil for real, for real? Well, hold on. Sells fruit to children. Maybe he is evil. He just doesn't give it away. He sells. So, I don't know, man. Y'all be the judge of that one right there, alright? I wouldn't sell an apple to a child. I would just give it to him if he wanted it. If he knew me, I wouldn't give it to a stranger because I'm like, why are you accepting fruit from a stranger? It could be laced with scissors. So, yeah.